Hi, welcome to another episode of A Closer Look, where we take a look at something in the Upper Valley that's of interest to us. I'm Donna Giroux, the Executive Director of CATV, and with me today is Michael McDonald.
Here I am, right here, White River Junction.
That's good. I'm glad you made it to White River Junction.
I did.
Michael, I'm very excited.
I had to go through West Lebanon to get here, so it's not easy.
It's a little funky.
Yeah.
That one street. You pass the library, you don't even realize you've passed it. You pass the
Oh, and then you go like, okay, I'm here. This place is a furniture store? What's going on? Oh no, you got to go down. But the building's pretty hip. It's like an artist cooperative. It's nice.
Right, we're in the Tip Top building, and all of White River Junction, the center, is slowly getting that sort of gentrification facelift that it needs. So it's a good thing. So this used to be a bread factory, believe it or not.
I can smell that.
That's good. So the reason why we have Mike on is because you have a comedy extravaganza that you're doing at the Lebanon Opera House.
I do. I brought it to the Opera House the past 2 years. It's been very successful. I've been doing, actually, here it is right here. Here's the poster for it. And I've been doing a comedy show in Portsmouth at the Music Hall, which is similar to the Opera House, 900-seat, beautiful theater.
Which you're doing this year as well.
Right. So on Friday, I do over in Portsmouth, and then Saturday I bring it here. Because doing these shows, I bring 4 other comedians and a piano player with me. Doing these shows, there's a lot to put together. So it's like making a lasagna. If you're going to make a lasagna, make 2. Because, you know, when you lay out all the stuff for lasagna,
right,
there's a bechamel sauce and there's cheese all over the kitchen. It's the same thing.
That's pretty swanky. I don't use bechamel sauce in my lasagna. So
no,
we'll talk about recipes later.
Something tells me that there's not even real cheese in your lasagna.
But
You're using Velveeta.
I'm an old Italian girl. No,
oh, okay.
It's just a family recipe.
Molto bene.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that it's called extravaganza. Extravaganza.
Well, it's extravagant in that I'm not bringing tomato cans up here. I've got real comedians. Tom Cotter, who's one of the comics that's on. Tom is won multiple times on America's Got Talent.
He's very, very funny. I saw him on America's Got Talent.
Yes, and you're going to be able to see him again next week because America's Got Talent is doing a Champions series.
Really?
And he's on, I believe it's on the 14th. He hasn't gotten an actual date yet. They've already done the show.
But in January.
Yes.
Right.
So just before getting to the Lebanon Opera House, Tom Cotter will be on America's Got Talent. I've got Nick Griffin with me. Nick did 11 Lettermans,
yes.
The Conan O'Brien Show, Tonight Show, really great. I got Karen Morgan with me. First time I ever saw Karen, she was smooth. It was only her second time on stage. She was good, and she was smooth, and she's beautiful. And I went like, how do you know how to be this good? There's nobody that's on stage for the second time. And she was from Atlanta. And she said, well, I was a trial lawyer. So she cut her teeth being a trial lawyer and being able to speak in public and get you off from manslaughter.
So she's a new comedian.
Yeah, and Corey Rodrigues, who's a young lion, very funny guy. I'm really very happy with the team that I put together to come up here, because these are the kind of people you can put them on stage and you can go in the back and not worry about it. You know, a fight could break out in the room. Hopefully that won't happen, but they'd be able to handle it. You know.
But you're going to perform as well.
Oh yeah, I'm the glue of this whole thing. So I perform like 5 times. I'm going to host the show. That way I get the control. I'm very controlling, and I'm the producer of these shows. So. You know, I pick what slot people hit in, and then do my own thing. We've got video. I've got a piano player who's a great player. He's Peter Wolf's piano player, who comes up and...
Sounds like a very charged evening, and the reason why I wanted you on here, besides talking about the show, was because some of the proceeds go to one of our much beloved local nonprofits.
David's House.
Why? How did you decide on David's House?
I'll tell you. My corporate sponsor, my big sponsor up here, is Eastern Propane and Oil.
Okay.
So it's a family-owned business, and I know them really well. And the people who own Eastern Propane and Oil, the young couple have had 2 kids that as soon as they were born went in the hospital for 6 months at a time. We're almost, you know, they were given the last rites a couple of times, but both of them pulled through. Both of them are doing great. But these guys have lived the David's House experience. And, you know, if you don't know what David's House is, it's a great facility that if your kid is going to Dartmouth Hitchcock Hospital and you're 50 miles away, imagine making the drive in the winter every day, and it's
Absolutely.
just, you know, and your kid's sick and going in for cancer treatments or something like that.
And
you know, it's daunting enough that you got to deal with that with your kid, but then the travel and not being able to get there on time sometimes. David's House puts you up, puts your kid up. If they're going in for outpatient treatment, but many times it's the child is in for inpatient treatment, and then they put you up for a little while. And it's a fantastic facility, a very warm and welcoming facility. Jay, who runs the place over there, everybody who works there is nice.
I had asked Jay to come on and join us.
And she said, well, with Mike, absolutely not. Isn't that right?
Actually, that is what she said.
Yeah, I knew it.
No, she's got a team like CATV has a team. It's a very small team of people, staff-wise, and they do a profound service, a lot of things.
Right.
So to be shorthanded, she happened to be shorthanded today, so couldn't.
She's always got an excuse. I'll tell you that about Jay.
She does. But it's funny, you wouldn't know they were a small team because they have so many volunteers. They survive off of the graciousness of volunteerism. They have hospitality volunteers. They have people who cook and
well, you know what? There, but for the
cook.
grace of God go we. Yeah. All of us have been in some sort of a situation where a family member or a kid has been sick. And so if you have any kind of empathy at all and you see a facility like that, and you have a bit of spare time, you know, and the people who grew up around here, you know, they're kind of can-do-it kind of people, and
Absolutely.
they show up. You know,
Right.
It's not a snow. You know, it's not a blizzard. It's Tuesday. You know,
You're right.
Everybody's got a, you know, some sort of a 4-wheel drive vehicle and a snow machine, so we can get there.
That's true. We just got our snow machine this year.
You got a snow machine?
Yep, absolutely. What I did want to talk about David's House just a little is that they serve over 14,000 people a year, and that's just the sleepovers.
Which is a ridiculous number of
people. They also serve people who, let's say they come in for the day and they're fatigued, you know, they've raced their kid in and they need rest after their treatment. They do all kinds of extra service for people who just need a place to land.
I vet all the charities that I work with, and I went there, and actually the guy who put me together with David's House, a guy named Dick Sear, he's the father.
He's
the father of David's House, but he's an old propane guy.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, so he comes from the propane business. That's why Eastern knew him. We hooked up, we talked.
Excellent.
Dick started David's House because his son David was the original person who Dick lived the whole thing of having to drive from Claremont, I believe, in order to come here. Now, while we're talking, there's some kind of a hilarious rumble. What is happening? Do we ever heard a buffalo run through the
actually,
hallway?
that's exactly what it is.
You have trained buffalo here.
It's the snowmakers. We are right next to the train track.
Oh, that was the train that just went by.
So they idle and couple literally right behind us. So we can't and there's no time frame. It's not like you know exactly when they're going to be rumbling around. So it's always
just like trains.
Always an adventure.
You know.
Always an adventure.
Well, I'm sorry that they didn't
They will if I stand out there and ask them for a toot. Yeah.
Really? You have that kind of power?
I do.
Nice.
I do.
It's good to have that kind of juice.
There's a lot of train aficionados who are here, and we have a lot of independent producers who have train footage they want to turn into videos. And so they come in because it's free to the community to come in and learn how to edit and borrow our equipment. And
oh yeah, if you ever had an idea for a TV show, you come right on in,
That's
talk to
true.
Donna, and she will probably say yes.
Yes. Well, of course I'll say yes. You know, the idea is to empower people. That's what we're here for, is to make sure that everyone's voice gets out there, including these 5 comedians. So.
Well, look, I'm coming up into Lebanon in February, okay? February
So it's
9th.
February
it's a
9th.
Saturday. Imagine what it's, you know, you've lived through most of the winter. We're already in the January. Hasn't really been bad yet, but you know, something's going to hit the fan soon.
Yeah,
That's
the next
right.
2 days.
Yeah. So
So
you're ready to eat your young at that point. And I'm bringing myself and 4 other great comedians to the Opera House. I want you to come on by.
I'm sure the Opera House would like that as well.
Well, you know, the Opera House is cool because it's one of those facilities that it's not a standalone theater. It was built in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's one of those places where the theater is beautiful, you know, but when they built it, it's like, we'll have pageants and we'll have political speeches, and then once in a while we'll have some great theater will come through here.
Or opera.
Opera, absolutely. But downstairs, you can pay your taxes.
Of course.
You know, you go in the door, you take a right, you're paying your taxes. You take a left, it's the box office. You can come in and buy some tickets for my show.
And there you have it.
Yep.
So I really appreciate you coming on, Mike. And I was wondering, is there anything else you want to tell the audience who's watching?
That this is a, you know, I'm a comedian that's been doing this for well over 2 weeks now. No, I've been in show business for, you know, close 38 years, all right? And one of my skill sets is knowing talent and knowing who can do it. And the people I'm bringing up here can all do it. They're all really great comics. This will be my 3rd year here, 18th in Portsmouth. You know, you don't get 18 years if you stink.
That's
You
true.
know, they
That's
go
true. They
after
don't
like
give you,
year 2.
get
They
the
go,
hook.
no, we're not going to do that anymore. That's no.
Get the hook.
And then people wouldn't show up. You know, but this is a close to a 900-seat room at the Opera House. We've already sold, you know, close to 450 tickets.
That's good.
Yeah.
So there's plenty more.
And here's something else I want you to know: that Eastern Propane, for every ticket sold, will give $5 towards David's house.
Well, that's really generous.
Yeah, so if you do 500, if I sold 500 seats, they're giving $2,500.
Excellent.
Now, I've done that the past 2 years, and Eastern has thrown more money on top of that. So David's house has made at least $3,500 out of each of my shows the past 2 years.
And it's a delightful way to make a donation.
When you can
You get to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, they're very community-based. They want you to be able to pick up the phone and make a phone call to them, and they'll come out and fill your tank or take care of your needs. But they're not baloney. They don't just talk the talk and not walk the walk. They do, and that's why people from Eastern will be there to give David's house a check.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So
Yeah, because it makes me look good.
it does make you look good, and everybody has a good time. So just
Yeah.
to recap.
So you're going to talk to Jay for me, aren't you?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So
You think you're closing?
February
You think you're
9th.
finishing up?
I am. I'm closing.
No.
February 9th. Here, should I look here? February 9th, it's Saturday at the Lebanon Opera House. You can buy tickets online, LebanonOperaHouse.com.
.org.
Oh, it's a .org?
I do believe it is.
It is a .org.
Yep.
How cool is the Lebanon Opera House? Also, David's house, you're welcome to make a direct donation if you can't make it to the show.
Oh, they're happy to take money.
Yeah,
Pick up-
exactly.
write a check, send it out, feel good about yourself.
I think it's davids-house.org, but you can always do a Google search.
If you just punch David's house in, it comes up.
It comes up, right? It comes up. So enjoy the rest of the winter. I'm sure we'll have another episode. And thank you, Mike.
Not as exciting as this one, though.
No, not at all. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Donna.